Thank you to everyone who's joining. What's interesting is we have about a mix of about a third of people from our customers and partners. I'm sorry, our partners like Oracle and Workiva and OneCloud and other people like that. We have about a third that are customers or prospective customers. And we intriguingly have about a third of the participants today who are actually my competitors, which I think is great fun. So I will speak to all audiences today. I believe information was meant to be free, and I want to share with all of you honestly and openly. We are, to the best of my knowledge, the only consulting company I know of that lets everyone join every one of our webcasts, and you are all totally welcome, and I'm extremely happy that you're here. And with that, let's go ahead. The Renaissance of the 15th century was a burst of creativity in the arts, in literature, in architecture, the sciences, and a whole lot more. What's interesting, and I'm not sure all of you know this, is the Renaissance was in direct response to Europe moving past the plague. People across all walks of life were dying at extremely alarming rates, but once they got that plague under control, it led to a period of rebirth. Like soaring up into the sky, this period of dramatic change was extremely scary, but the possibilities were amazing. And as we all prepare for our own plague to end, we are entering our own period of rebirth, our own renaissance, the digital renaissance, if you will. I'm Edward Roski, CEO at ArganoInterRel, and today we're going to be talking about the digital renaissance and how to thrive in it. The Renaissance ran through the 15th and 16th centuries, beginning in Italy, spreading to France and the rest of the world. Renaissance is actually a French word, and it brought about this world-impacting change. But pause for a moment and realize how much your world has changed. And it did it not over 200 years, it did it in 1 year. Now, we might think that all this change came out of nowhere, but if you look, this period of beginning to accelerate change that really just came to a peak as we hit the COVID days, this period of change started a decade ago. It's just been accelerating in the last 2 years. And it's not going to slow down. So speaking of change, InterRel is now ArganoInterRel. Same great name, just longer. Our mission is the same as it always was. We want to leave the world a smarter place than we found it. But the way we deliver that mission needs to evolve to handle the challenges of all this rapid change that we're running into. We want to be able to scale in the way we want. We want to be able to deliver on the promise of the digital renaissance in our own way. And to do this, we had to get together with a few other firms to form something new, Argano. Argano is actually an Italian word. It means a tool that lifts or shifts something. And the world got by before Arganos existed. And InterRel, on a personal note, we had a really good 2020. I know you're not supposed to admit that out loud, but companies were all changing their planning systems. They were all trying to do scenario planning. They were all trying to get better analytics. They were trying to reduce their close. So we actually had a record year of revenue in 2020, which is not what I would have predicted on March 26th of 2020. But if we want to survive and thrive on the other side of the digital renaissance, what can we do to take that even bigger? What can we do to make that scale even more? So I'm going to be talking about the Argano portion of the ArganoInterRel name. Over the course of this presentation, I'm going to talk about the who, the what, the when, the where, the why, all those parts of Argano. But the critical thing that we said as we became a part of Argano, as we helped form this organization, as we said, as much as it was wonderful to deliver new planning to the world in 2020, 2021, revenues are up even more, our reaches have gone up even more. How could we deliver that around the world? How can we deliver it to more people, to more companies, so that we're not fulfilling the promise of the digital renaissance just for people that want to do EPM and just the customers we can manage to reach, but how can we really take that digital renaissance and deliver it for everybody? But we don't want to lose what makes up InterRel. We don't want to lose what we provide to all of our customers. There's a reason that they've trusted us since 1997. To the best of my knowledge, I think we've outlasted literally every other firm in the dedicated EPM space. We were actually founded in 1997 to be an Arbor Software S-based partner. This is long before Arbor and Hyperion got together. It's long before Hyperion got acquired by Oracle. It's long before Oracle changed Hyperion into Oracle Cloud EPM. And we have survived all through this by sticking true to three key things. That's our focus. That's what we deliver. We deliver predominantly EPM and analytics, but what does that mean? Well, we really want to help people improve with planning and forecasting, helping them get a better idea of what that future looks like. The second system we ever built in summer of 1997 was a budgeting system. Consolidation and close, where we want to help companies get their books closed faster so they get better visibility into what just happened so they can make changes as they move forward into the future. And then reporting and analysis, that was the first project InterRel did. It was for Clark American Check Company in San Antonio in May of 1997. And what we helped them do was get a better handle on reporting, analysis of profitability and product by customers. And that's still a huge part of what we continue to deliver. Over the years, the reporting and analysis side has gotten bigger. It's become part of an overall financial management solution. So strong financial reporting, now strong financial management, is extremely important to all of our customers. It helps them get visibility into how well their organization is performing. We want to make sure that we make better business decisions faster, and access to financial information is going to help companies do that. Good financial management gives you better planning, gives you better forecasting, gives you a better window into what that future is going to look like. It's going to let you know how your cash flow is during times of COVID. How are you doing with your solvency? How is your company's liquidity looking like, and what will it be looking like? It helps give a better idea to your investors, your creditors, your auditors, your shareholders. How is your company doing, and how will it continue to do? And good financial management makes it easier to have transparent access to that data, so that when you're being audited, you're trying to make sure you're staying compliant, you're focusing on your governance, do you have all that good financial data to deliver that? And we are continuing to do what we have always been doing. We're going to help companies do better jobs of planning and consolidation, reporting and analysis by helping them speed up how they get all that data together, how they consolidate it all, how they have a dashboard that shows them information they can immediately act on, how they can be more agile with that budgeting and planning, so they can go out and build bigger, better, badder, faster systems that help get a better idea on where that company is headed. And then we make sure we're not doing these systems in isolation, that there is a planning system out there and there's a reporting system. Why not bring them together into one integrated system? Why not bring them together into one cloud EPM solution that helps deliver all those insights across the whole company? We help by implementing services. There are things we do beginning before the project ever starts, before a company ever says, this is what we want to implement. We help them figure out, what is that vision going to look like? Where do you want to be in the next 1 to 3 years with financial planning and analysis? Where do you want to be with EPM? Where do you want to be with taking a number and doing something with it? And then if that strategic assessment says, well, if we really want to be around in 3+ years, we want to thrive in the digital renaissance, we're going to have to do a better job of visualizing the future, we can implement it. We can do those planning, those budgeting, those forecasting solutions. Reporting and analysis, delivering the right information to the right time, it's accelerating. There used to be a time, not terribly long ago, when you were okay waiting halfway into the following month, if not longer, to see what happened last month. That didn't work in 2020, but frankly, it hasn't worked for a decade. We need to deliver that information faster. We have to make sure that we close all of our books, that we come in and help people take all those data from all those different general ledgers and bring it together into one common place so we can have that greater financial management. We need to make sure that our customers are well trained so that after we implement those systems, they're able to survive beyond us. How do we make them independent so that we don't become adjunct staff? How can we make sure that we have a lasting impact on those customers? And it's through training, it's through customer support, and it's making sure that they are not in the server management business. Cloud is important for a lot of things. One of which is it makes your server someone else's problem, but it also gives you a whole lot of access to solutions you might not have otherwise had access to. Not just features, but new capabilities. So maybe previously in an on-prem world, you said, yep, all we do is planning. But what you really want to do is understand what are your 10 most profitable products or your 10 least profitable customers. The cloud just gives you that functionality. It's not something you have to go out and purchase and have to do separately. So the question I would be asking if I was you, well, if all this is going great and you had record revenue and profitability in 2020 and you're growing in 2021 and you seem to have really happy customers, why do this? Why do you need to scale it up even more? What is it that you're not providing at InterRel? Well, look at this list for a second and appreciate everything you see on that list is EPM and analytics. And if you want to deeply transform your company, you can't just change a portion of it. You can't go, well, we had this huge impact on finance. Sorry, we didn't do anything for you, rest of the company, but be super envious of the office of the CFO. For companies that want to thrive in this renaissance, they need deep transformation. The European Renaissance was a time of renewed interest and appreciation of art, culture, intellect, and commerce. And as we went through this Renaissance, which literally means rebirth, as we went through this rebirth, with the help of advancing technology, a whole lot of major developments occurred in those areas, in math and philosophy and art and culture and intellect and commerce. They built amazing skyscrapers the world had never seen before. They made amazing art the world could never previously imagine. And we are doing the same thing right now. But today we're doing it in a digital-led world. And that digital-led world, that digital renaissance, requires businesses to think differently about how they deploy, how they manage their people, their processes, their technology. Think about it. We have availability to data and insights that the world could not have conceived of even a decade ago. We have these new enterprise architectures where if somebody can imagine it and they can get it working on one server, we can get access to that one server thanks to the power of the cloud. Thanks to all of these new technologies, it's a whole lot faster for the software providers to evolve, and we have to evolve even faster. So this availability of data, this access to insights, this powerful new architecture, these new technologies, they help define the digital renaissance. And similar to that original renaissance, this digital renaissance is going to rely on innovative new thinking. We have to figure out a way to turn our vision, so what a company wants to do, what they want to be, we have to turn that vision into a reality. We have to take the promise of the digital renaissance and we have to deeply transform so that we are a better company coming out the other side, that it is sticky, it becomes part of our DNA. That going forward, we are now a new type of company, a new type of customer that services that whole world because the world is changing. It is going through a time of deep transformation, and we have to go through deep transformation to survive as part of that. So in this new era, this time of deep, profound transformation for companies, for people, for the world, in this time of the digital renaissance, Argano is driving those innovative solutions that businesses need, that they need to change at a pace that this period demands. And to do that, we have to build a platform where our clients benefit. So what is Argano? Quite simply, we created Argano to be that next generation business technology services provider that architects and builds intelligent, frictionless platforms that support all the digital needs of an entire company that deeply transform those businesses. We want to make sure that whatever we put in place leaves that company stronger, make sure that they are the next generation's Fortune 500, and they're not left behind as the world changes. How do we do this? Well, our goal, and we are partway through it right now, is to bring together a bunch of world-class firms, all companies that are experts in those respective individual areas. We want to help businesses that want to deeply transform their operations. We want to help them by combining unique capabilities in those different technologies to solve critical and business operational issues. We want to make sure that in the sales area, that we're helping sales have that frictionless customer experience, that they're able to go out and really drive revenue. We want to make sure that we are implementing ERP systems and processes that improve data visibility and integrity across all the operations of the company. We want to make sure that we are architecting integrated logistics and supply chains that are resilient and flexible. 2020 did a wonderful job of exposing bottlenecks, plus that ship going sideways in the Suez Canal also exposed a few. We want to make sure that when we come up with a good supply chain process for a company and a technology to support it, that it doesn't have issues that are going to break. We want to make sure that we're providing just in time, but that we have flexibility. And part of that is making sure that we have a good plan for that supply chain. Speaking of planning, we want to make sure we're not just looking at our workforce as something that exists right now, but that we're planning for the future of those employees. We want to make sure that our employees are engaged, that they're productive, that they constantly feel like they are adding value, and that we understand where our needs are for human capital before we actually get there. We then want to take all that information, our sales information, our ERP, our supply chain, our human capital information, and that we are putting it together, that we are delivering an agile planning consolidation systems with analytics that are going to drive that more strategic approach to financial management. Now, in case you're wondering why I highlighted the EPM side, that's us, that's InterRel. That's what we provide in this overall, I'm going to make up a word on the spot, Arganosphere, if you will. But as we go forward and we try to purpose build this firm, we want to make sure that we are getting the world's leading service providers. We don't want to go out and get companies that are having financial issues, that don't have happy customers, that shrunk last year. We want to make sure we're going out and bringing on companies that are beloved in their specific area, that what they've been doing, they are known as the best at actually doing it. So as we go out and get those world leading service providers, we want to make sure that we are focused, and we're the only company in the world focused on this, on building those deeply transformative solutions, those agile, intelligent platforms for the next decade's enterprise clients, the ones that reimagine what life might look like, what the economy might look like in that digital renaissance. So we announced Argano to the world last month, in the month of May. And we said in May, there are 3 companies coming together to get Argano started. And it's just a piece of that puzzle I showed you on the last slide. Those 3 companies that came together are InterRel, providing amazing financial planning, consolidation, and analytics to the world. Kest, who is a world leader at B2B selling, digital automation, configure, price, quote, and United Virtualities, delivering digital experience, e-commerce solutions that deliver impact. So those were the 3 that we announced. And I'm pleased to further announce that as of yesterday, we had our 4th company joining us on this mission. Arbella Technologies out of California, and they are our first ERP firm that's joining us. So we are continuing to build out those 5 aspects we showed before. So they provide ERP and CRM to all different sizes of companies all across North America and beyond. And drum roll, we're going to be announcing our 5th company next week. I can't tell you who it is because we're writing the press release right now. It's already happened. They're definitely on board with joining us. And if you want to hear about it, go bookmark argano.com. Or if you like getting your news through social media, go to Argano X on Twitter, or follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on Facebook. You're going to be one of the first to hear about Company 5 next week. I will tell you, it's a little bit of a hint, it helps complete that picture that I showed you on the last slide. So if you pause for a second and said, well, Edward talked about this bubble and this bubble and this bubble, what bubble is he not talking about? You're going to hear about it next week. And there are a whole lot more to follow. On my slide I put together, I showed you up through Argano 6. We have a whole lot of other capabilities we want to be adding to make sure that we can deeply transform those companies. So the question that I'd be asking at this point is, how do you decide? Like, how do you figure out who is a market leader in that space? Well, there are two criteria before all others. Number one, they must be beloved. These are Net Promoter Scores. And I don't know if you know much about Net Promoter Scores. Indulge me, if you will, for a second. Net Promoter Score is quite simply, you ask a question at the end of an implementation. On a scale of 1 to 10, how likely would you recommend this company to friends and family? And if you get a 9 or a 10, that counts as a promoter. If you get a 7 or an 8, it counts as neutral. If you get 0 through 6, that counts as a detractor. And simply what they do is they total up the number of companies that gave you a 9 or a 10. They don't add anything for the companies that gave you a 7 or 8, and then you start subtracting for the companies that gave you a 0 through a 6. The industry average across all systems integrators is right around a 24. There is a subcategory, what are called global systems integrators, that have an average Net Promoter Score of, I'm shocked to say this out loud, 9. Argano, we're averaging right now a 70. InterRel's Net Promoter Score is 77. By the way, that number is insane. You're considered best in class if you're above 50. You are considered world class if you're 65 or higher. Nordstrom at last check, their Net Promoter Score was 75. InterRel, our Net Promoter Score is 77. And as happy as I am to brag about that, we actually found a company that has a higher Net Promoter Score than we do. This is all done by this independent company, and I had to go read their independent report. Argano UV, United Virtualities, their Net Promoter Score is 87. And we've said that any company we bring on has to be best in class because we want Argano to be world class. So that company that I mentioned, Arbella, those next couple of companies that are joining, their Net Promoter Score is averaging 60 or above for every one of those. So that's the number one thing that we look for, is that they must be beloved by their customers. They must provide best in class to the world. The second thing, they must transform their customers. These can't be companies that come in and go, what do you exist for? Oh, we just move stuff to the cloud. No. That's a technological change. There's always going to be something else. You're right, you should be cloud-based because it gives you so much more flexibility than you had before, but there has to be more to it than that. So we said that you must go out and there must be an impact that you have. When we talk to your customers, they look back and go, we left the other side of this implementation, not just taking what we did and carrying it to the cloud or taking what we did and lifting and shifting it. We were a better company. We were a transformed company on the other side. We want to keep what is great and beloved about each one. We just want to scale it more, which is kind of the opposite of today's global systems integrators. They kind of want to take and focus on scale and then try and get beloved. We're doing it the other way around. We're taking companies that are doing amazingly well in their sector, that did things like growing last year, that are having a greater and greater impact, and taking those companies and bringing them all together as part of Argano. Now at InterRel, we love what we're doing, which is why we're going to keep doing it for many, many years to come. But being a bigger company lets us be more flexible. It helps us service companies around the world. So right now, while we have done some implementations outside of North America, we don't have any people there. We've done some implementations in Latin America. We don't have any people there. At InterRel, we do now at Argano. We have employees operating in, wait, let me count as of yesterday. I should have done this ahead of time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 countries where we now have employees. So InterRel at the start of the year, we had employees in the United States, and that was it. So now we can start to service those companies. So we now have employees in Asia. We now have employees in Latin America. We now have employees in Europe. So we are more flexible. We can go bigger with scale. We can also be a whole lot more innovative. We've always been, or tried to be, thought leaders at InterRel, helping take the knowledge that we have and share it with everybody else. But now we just frankly have more resources because we can take that desire for thought leadership across each of those companies, we can bring it together and truly leave the world a different place than we found it. We can be more comprehensive. Right now at InterRel, if a company calls us up and says, yep, we love you for EPM, we'd really like your thoughts on e-commerce. It would be, that's awesome. Have you met this other random company? I'd like to introduce you to them. Now I can simply say, if you have a need beyond EPM and analytics, if you have a need to truly transform across the company, we are there as part of that Argano family. It's all there, including as part of Argano. So InterRel, yes, will continue to be EPM and analytics, but we have great other partners as part of Argano that are providing the rest. We are making it easier for our customers to go find those truly awesome smaller companies around the world by bringing together into a company that's going to be $1 billion+ in revenue. And we can leave that world of on-prem behind. We can focus on building a company the way you would make a company in 2021, and that's by being cloud first. As much as I love, especially competing with like the Deloittes, the PricewaterhouseCoopers of the world, they were all founded about 160 years ago. That is a company that was not created to be a cloud-centric company. They were created to be, those companies were created to be massive, configure, big, huge change, customized implementations. It's not the way you do it nowadays. You go for a much faster, quicker hit that deeply transforms. So at InterRel, we have the same purpose as before, delivering the same Oracle and EPM and analytics business and technical expertise. We're just doing it at scale as part of Argano InterRel. But that's just part of what makes up Argano. If I were sitting on the other side, my big picture question is, why? Why does Argano exist? Where are you going long term? What is your purpose? Why do we need this company to survive that digital renaissance? Why do we exist? We are trying to build a platform that benefits not a couple of companies that may have heard about an InterRel or a Kest or an Arbella or a UB. We're not trying to help a few companies that said, yeah, I heard the world's changing and I'm kind of interested in that, but there are a whole lot of companies that aren't. If you believe in the digital renaissance, if you believe the world is changing and it has never changed as fast before and it will never change as slowly again, we are here to help you. Argano is here to deliver on the promise, to fulfill the promise of the digital renaissance for all. We're going to give solutions for our customers that meet their needs as they deeply transform how they do business. This is our why. This is Argano's purpose. To do this, it's going to require a lot of work. And this is going to be fun for all of you to watch on the outside how we do all of this. There are a few things we're already beginning. We're getting together these world-class firms that I mentioned that have skills and experience and knowledge of solutions and knowledge of platforms. We're going to make sure that we keep all of those amazing employees, all those people that share our values, that believe in leaving the world a better place than they found it. We're going to bring new ways of thinking, new ways of working with our clients, new ways of working with our partners. We will bring that fresh thinking and innovation to those platforms that deeply transform. We're going to give those back-end operating platforms the fresh attention that they deserve, but in some cases have been ignored over the last decade. What got us to today is not going to get us to tomorrow. So we are going to help power that next wave of business growth. So if you're a company that wants to be on the Fortune 500 in a decade, we are your firm to do it. We're going to innovate that next generation of agile, intelligent, efficient, deeply transformative solutions. We're going to be the company that organizations want to hire to deeply transform, and the company that people want to work for. We're going to meet the changing needs of today, the changing needs of tomorrow. We're going to leave that legacy thinking and the old models obsolete. If you go back to the first Renaissance, they had art. They were painting people in the Dark Ages during medieval times, but they were extremely flat. They didn't have, if you'll excuse the EPM pun, they didn't have dimensionality. There was no depth. There was no there. It just seemed completely flat. And they said, what if we could take the lessons over the last 2,000 years, lessons of things like sculpture, and combine it with those paintings to make more impactful, more artwork that truly changed who you were, that changed who your soul actually was. We're in the same situation. We've been building up all this information, but we can't continue to paint the world with the same brushes we painted with over the last 160 years. We want to make sure that we are there to help you reimagine that economy, that helps you build what that future is going to look like. So if you want to deeply transform, if you want to be a company that leads the world, we are here to help you. We are here to be that assistant, that wizard, that voice that whispers in your ear as you go through this digital renaissance. I know there was a ton of information in 30 minutes. I am going to give you some additional sources of things to learn about because a lot of this was just kind of helping everyone understand. There's InterRel. This is our bigger place in Argano. This is Argano's bigger place in the whole world. If you have any questions, shoot those across through Q&A, or you can always personally email me. I'm going to do something I don't normally do. I'll give you all my email address. It's just eroske@interrel.com, eroske@interrel.com. If you're curious about any of this, if you're a company that says, this sounds fascinating, I want to know more. If you're a partner and you want to know how we can work together better as we form that billion-dollar company. If you're a competitor and you'd really like to join this platform, shoot me a private email. eroske@interrel.com. So I'll give you a few sources of additional information. We have a whole lot of webcasts coming up, but we're going to take a pause for the next 2 weeks because there's this amazing conference coming up that I'll talk about in a second. It is my favorite conference that invites everybody in the whole world. We do our own conference at InterRel in the fall, but if you want to go learn from a lot of broad different people, it's my favorite in-person conference that for this year isn't in person. And that'll be happening over the next couple of weeks. And that's called Kscope. I'm going to talk about Kscope in a second. Once Kscope is done, we are going to take whatever our top rated, most attended, the things that people thought were super cool, and we're going to deliver those specifically to you. So we wholly recommend that you go out and attend Kscope. It is super cheap. I think it's, don't quote me on this, I think it's $199 to get in, and the educational value of what you will get over next week and the following week is immeasurable. It'll be the best $199 you ever spent. So go to kscope21.odtug.com. When you're out on kscope21.odtug.com, you're going to notice that we have whatever is bigger than a plethora, we have that many sessions over the next couple of weeks. I am delivering one myself, so since it was my slide, I sorted myself to the top. Apologies for the hubris. I'm delivering a session on, so what about Essbase? Why is no one talking about it anymore? What has been happening? Some of you have heard they're up to all the way to Essbase 21.2. Some of you have heard that there's an amazing path forward. Some of you have heard the opposite. We're going to tell you all the truth, all the reality next week. But a whole lot of other people are speaking. The lovely, beautiful, and sometimes intelligent Glenn Schwartzberg is giving a couple sessions. We have some customers talking. Kevin Black, Kenneth Whalen, Opal Alapot, Terrence Walker, Wayne Van Sluis. A whole lot of our customers are getting together with us to help share that information. I know it says rooms. There's kind of these virtual rooms that you can sort of stay in for the entire day, but it's a great opportunity. I'm going to leave you with a closing thought. I'm going to leave you with a closing thought from the world's first Renaissance man, basically the person that they created the term to describe. And that man gave us some advice on how to thrive in times when everything's changing around you. Leonardo da Vinci once said, "People of accomplishment rarely sit back and let things happen to them. They went out and happened to things." In 2020, things happened to all of us, but we're all going to take a different approach. Everyone, have an amazing 2021 where you go out and happen to things. Thank you. Hope you have an amazing rest of your year.